Imagine waking up one morning, opening your computer, and finding a message addressed to you, not by name, not by email, just to you. Because whoever sent it knew that out of the millions of people who would read it, only a handful would even understand what it was asking. And if you were one of those people, they were already watching. This is the story of Cicada 3301, the most sophisticated, most mysterious, and most unsettling puzzle ever placed on the internet. A test that no government has officially claimed, no corporation has ever monetized, and no solver has ever fully explained. A test that technically is still running. Welcome to Chronicles of Cold. January 4th, 2012. On an anonymous image board, the kind of place where conspiracy theories and internet chaos live side by side, a single post appeared. White text, black background, no username, no context, no explanation. It read, "Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in this image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck, 3301. Attached was a simple image, a moth, specifically a cicada. Most people scrolled past it. Another internet troll, another joke, another waste of time. But a small number of people, programmers, cryptographers, mathematicians, people whose brains are wired differently, looked at that image and felt something shift inside them because they knew. This wasn't a joke. This was an invitation. The first step seemed simple in hindsight, but in 2012, it required a level of technical thinking most people don't possess. Someone opened the cicada image not in a photo viewer, but in a plain text editor, essentially looking at the raw code underneath the picture itself. Hidden in the file's data was a string of characters, a cipher. Once decoded, it pointed to a URL. They clicked it and found a wooden duck. The page read, "Whoops, just decoys this way? Looks like you can't guess how to extract a message." Pause on that word. Guess. This wasn't a taunt. It was a clue, a reference to a piece of obscure software called Outguess, an open-source steganography tool designed to hide data invisibly inside images. Steganography is the art of concealing information inside something else entirely, not encrypting it, not locking it, hiding it in plain sight. When the original cicada image was run through Outguess, it surrendered a hidden text file. The file contained two things: a link to a private subreddit and a book cipher, a code that uses a specific text as its key. The subreddit appeared to be nonsense, a series of posts built entirely from Maya numerals. But the header image of the subreddit held yet another concealed message, pointing solvers toward a medieval Welsh manuscript called the Mabinogion, a collection of mythological tales dating back to the 12th century. Apply the book cipher to the poem, decode the output. What you get is a phone number, a Texas area code. People called it. An automated voice answered. Cold, robotic, calm. Underscore, very good. You have done well. There are 3 prime numbers associated with the original image. 3301 is one of them. You will have to find the other 2. Multiply all 3 together and add a .com on the end to find the next step. Good luck. Goodbye. The original cicada image had dimensions of 509 pixels by 503 pixels, both prime numbers. Multiply 509 times 503 times 3,301, and you get a 10-digit number. Type that as a web address, and you reach a site showing nothing but a countdown timer and a cicada. The world waited. The clock ticked down. And when it finally hit 0, the site updated. But it wasn't another cipher. It wasn't another hidden image. It was a list of GPS coordinates, 14 locations spread across the entire planet: Warsaw, Paris, Seattle, Seoul, Sydney, Miami, Hawaii, New Orleans, multiple locations in California and Arizona. This was the moment everyone understood that Cicada 3301 was not a lone teenager in a basement. You cannot simultaneously place physical objects in 14 cities across multiple continents without resources, coordination, and planning. Whatever 3301 was, it had infrastructure. Participants rushed to the coordinates. What they found, taped to telephone poles and walls in broad daylight, were physical printed posters, the cicada image, and a QR code. The QR codes led to new hidden images. The hidden images contained more outguessed data, more book ciphers, this time referencing William Gibson's cyberpunk fiction and an ancient Anglo-Saxon rune poem. Each layer peeled back to reveal another, and at the end of the trail, a single address on the Tor network, the dark web, fully encrypted, completely anonymous. But Cicada 3301 only wanted the first ones through the door. After a limited number of visitors reached the Tor site, it shut down permanently. A final message was left: we want the best, not the followers. For the rest of 2012, the trail went completely, utterly cold. No messages, no posts, no signs of life. The internet debated, theorized, and eventually waited. Exactly 1 year later, January 4th, 2013, a new image appeared. New message, same unmistakable voice. Hello again. Our search for intelligent individuals now continues. But this time, something was different. From 2013 onward, every genuine Cicada message came with a PGP signature. PGP, pretty good privacy, is an encryption authentication system that acts like a digital fingerprint. It meant that from this point forward, any message without that specific signature was a fake. And there were many fakes, hundreds of them, copycats, trolls, amateur ARG designers trying to ride the wave of Cicada's growing legend. The PGP signature was the only way to tell the real darkness from the imitation. The 2013 puzzle escalated sharply. It introduced an audio file called the Instar Emergence, Instar being a biological term for the developmental stage between a caterpillar's molts. Hidden inside the audio were hex strings. The hex strings pointed toward the Sefer Yetzirah, one of the oldest and most esoteric texts in Jewish Kabbalah, a document concerned with the nature of creation and the hidden structure of reality. It also incorporated the writings of Aleister Crowley, the infamous occultist, whose work sits at the intersection of mysticism and cipher. At one point, participants were required to boot a custom Linux operating system from scratch to analyze specific data clusters embedded in the puzzle. The physical coordinates returned: new cities, new posters, same global reach, same dark web ending, same closed door for anyone who arrived too late. January 4th, 2014, the third puzzle. This one was different in a way that nobody anticipated, because it led to a book. Not a book that already existed, a book written by Cicada 3301 themselves. It was called the Liber Primus, 58 pages, handwritten in an elaborate system of runic alphabets, dense, nonlinear, deeply philosophical. The Liber Primus, Latin for first book, was not merely a cipher sitting on top of a message, it was the message itself. Its pages dealt with the nature of the self, the illusion of consensus reality, the dangers of centralized power, the suppression of information, and the freedom of the individual mind. Through enormous collective effort, a small number of pages were eventually decoded. What they revealed was unsettling in its conviction. One translated passage read, "A rule is an idea is a virus. Do not be infected." Another warned of what happens when society allows its institutions to determine the boundaries of knowledge. Solvers worked for months, then for years. The encryption was unlike standard ciphers. It was layered, self-referential, and appeared to use keys that were themselves hidden within the text. Progress slowed, then stalled, and then stopped almost entirely. January 4th, 2015 came and went. No new puzzle. January 4th, 2016. Still nothing. And then, in the spring of that year, a single PGP signed message was posted. Brief, direct, final. It read, "Hello, the path lies empty, epiphany remains, Liber Primus is the way, its words are the map, their meaning is the road, and their numbers are the direction. Seek, and you will be found." Cicada 3301 was sending a message not just to the puzzle solvers, but to the entire internet. There would be no more puzzles, no more clues, no more coordinates. The door would not reopen until the Liber Primus was decoded. It still hasn't been. But what about the people who made it through? The ones who reached the Tor site before it closed? The most documented account comes from a young man named Marcus Warner, who was still in high school when he completed the 2012 puzzle. According to Warner, the final dark web portal asked him to create an account on a completely private, anonymous forum. When he logged in, he found roughly 20 other successful solvers from around the world, and he found the people behind Cicada 3301. They described themselves as a decentralized international collective. Not a government, not a company. A group of cypherpunks, people ideologically committed to privacy, cryptographic freedom, and the resistance of surveillance and censorship. They asked the recruits to work on specific software projects aligned with those values. Warner was assigned to a project designed to protect whistleblowers and journalists, to give people a tool to communicate without being tracked or silenced. The reality, he said, was anticlimactic. Managing a secret paranoid team of anonymous programmers across multiple time zones is not glamorous. Progress was slow. Motivation faded. One by one, the original Cicada members stopped logging in. The private forum went dark. The project dissolved. If Warner's account is entirely accurate, then Cicada 3301 was an elaborate, brilliant, and ultimately incomplete recruitment drive by a group of idealists who genuinely believed in what they were building. But the security and intelligence community has never fully accepted that explanation. Consider what was required to build this. Not just the cryptographic knowledge, which is already at a professional or postgraduate level, but the logistics. Physical posters placed simultaneously in 14 cities across 6 countries. A working Tor infrastructure, a PGP authentication system, an original 58-page philosophical manuscript. Knowledge spanning medieval Welsh mythology, ancient Jewish mysticism, 20th century cyberpunk literature, and custom Linux development. This is not the work of a single person. It may not even be the work of a small group. The operational scope mirrors what intelligence agencies call a global covert recruitment program. During World War II, British intelligence at Bletchley Park recruited codebreakers by hiding puzzles in the Daily Telegraph crossword. In the modern era, agencies like the NSA and GCHQ have publicly acknowledged using cryptographic challenges to identify raw talent. Some former intelligence officers speaking anonymously have suggested that Cicada 3301's methodology is consistent with how a sophisticated government program would test for unconventional cognitive ability, looking not for people who know the right answers, but for people who ask the right questions. This theory has never been confirmed. It has never been denied. The NSA has never commented on Cicada 3301. GCHQ has never commented on Cicada 3301. Nobody has. The mystery of Cicada 3301 endures because it breaks the rules of how mysteries are supposed to work. There is no body, no crime, no clear victim, just a trail of extraordinary puzzles that demanded everything from the people who attempted them, ending in a door that is still closed, guarded by a book that is still unreadable. Whoever they are, cypherpunks, intelligence operatives, digital philosophers, or something with no name yet, they built something that the internet has never forgotten. They stepped out of the shadows, tested the sharpest minds on the planet, and then retreated back into the noise, leaving only a cicada and a number. The Liber Primus is still out there. The PGP key still exists. And as of today, no verified Cicada 3301 message has announced that the game is over, which means technically it isn't. The test is still open. The road is still waiting. And somewhere out there, someone may already be closer to the answer than any of us know. What do you think Cicada 3301 really was? A government recruitment program? A secret society of cypherpunks? An experiment in collective human intelligence that simply got away from its creators? Leave your theory in the comments. I read every single one. If you want more cases like this, unsolved, unexplained, and deeply unsettling, subscribe to Chronicles of Cold. We go where the answers aren't easy to find. Until next time, stay curious, trust nothing,